So that was it. That's all she wrote, folks. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to my wrap-up video for WRPF Nationals 2025 from Burlington, Ontario, hosted by Apex Barbell Club. First and foremost, thank you to Apex Barbell for hosting the event and the WRPF for putting it all together. It was a very well-run day. From an athlete's perspective, I will do a separate video on how I think the whole day went as an athlete, where I think it could maybe do a little bit better and where I think it excelled. So it'll kind of be a compliment sandwich in that respect, but that'll be a separate video. For now, I just wanted to do my wrap up on how I did. So went down on Saturday, weighed in 116 kilograms, which is the lightest I've been since the first Apex Tournament of Power. If I look at Open Powerlifter, my second ever competition was Apex Tournament of Power. I weighed 257.9 pounds. I weighed in on Saturday this time around at 257.2. So this is the lightest I've been since actually my first competition when I was 236 pounds. Very slender 236. So all that being said, I had to abandon my weight loss relatively late in my prep. As I mentioned in my last video, the weight loss had started to affect me, I think, negatively in my prep. So with 2 or 3 weeks left, we abandoned it, went back up to maintenance calories, tried to put a little bit of weight back on. So I was probably down closer to 250, if I'm being honest, before I abandoned the weight loss and came back up. So now headed into the off season, which again, I will talk about in yet another video, we'll be trying to get back down around there. So that's neither here nor there. The point is I dropped the weight loss, came back up to maintenance, and weighed 257.2 pounds and then set my openers. Decided to open squats at 529.1, which, according to my notes here, because I'm not very good at conversion, is 240 kilograms. I opened bench at 155 kilograms, 341 pounds, and then open deadlifts at 255 kilograms, 562 pounds. So we'll go through each lift one by one. First up was squats, opening at 529, 240 kilograms. This is actually, if I look back at my numbers, I have opened at 530 pounds the last 3 competitions. Lift Miss 2 opened at 529.1, King and Queen of Strength 529.1, and then Nationals 529.1. And it moved really well. Squats was one that I didn't hurt my back doing squats, but squats had not been moving well for me for a few weeks. I had done 555, 565, and 575 in training. 565 moved incredibly slow, but 575 moved much better. So it actually had given me hope that my squats were coming around until I hurt my back. So we did 530-ish pounds, and it went well. Then we jumped to 255 kilograms, up 15 kilos to 562, which is a smaller jump than I had done in the past. See, at Lift Miss 2, I jumped from 530 to 574, which was the exact same jump I had done at King and Queen. This time around, I did 530 to 562, and again, it moved pretty well. But it was when I did that jump that I knew that a PR for squats was not going to happen. And it was very disappointing because squats has been historically one of my best lifts. And to know that I wasn't going to PR on it on the day it kind of took some wind out of my sails. But I wasn't going to bomb out because I got the first 2. I got the first, which meant I wasn't going to bomb out, but the second was important too. So then we decided to play it conservatively and go to 584 instead of going up to 6, which I'd hit 584 a bunch of times. My first lift miss in 2023, that was my third squat was 584, and I didn't have it. This is where my monkey brain took over and I needed to be smarter. And this is where I should be smarter. When I unracked that bar, it wasn't even on my back. It was high on the right side, low on the left. And I should have re-racked it. I was wobbly right from the unrack. What I should have done was when I unracked it and realized my positioning, re-racked, taken a breath, got back under it, got reset, and done it. That's what I should have done, but that's not what I did. And it cost me. I was uneven going down. I was not going to come back up, and I didn't come back up. And I'd be lying if I told you that I was okay with it, because I wasn't. I wasn't okay with squats at all. I don't think I picked very good attempts. I don't think my jumps were very good. I don't think squats at all were very good. So it kind of deflated me following that going into bench press, because I thought, well, squats was where I really wanted to do the most damage, and I couldn't. So it's like, okay, in between squat and bench, Justin, my coach, had a conversation with me, and he put it into perspective by saying, I hadn't had a very good prep and I got hurt, but I still managed to squat about 93, 94% of my one rep max, being 562 pounds out of the 600 pounds, which is my best. So trying to take that as a win was important. Okay, so now it's like, all right, so there's the moral win. Can't do it, on to bench. Bench is another one that I really wanted to PR in, because I had done 402 in February, and bench has gone really well for me, even with strongman, because there's so much static pressing, overhead, and the like. I was super confident, and bench had gone incredibly well in prep. So I opened at 341 pounds, which, oh, I lied to you. I opened at 363 pounds. My notes here do not match the notes there. Huh. Okay, so I lied to you. Apparently on bench, I opened at 363, which I don't remember opening at 363, but here we are. So apparently I opened at 363. What's written in my notes here that I was pretty sure I set down as my openers is not what's here on Open Powerlifter. But regardless, according to Open Powerlifter, I opened at 363 pounds, which is definitely the heaviest I have ever opened a bench press at, and it went really well. So I mean, yay me! Oh God, we're learning new things together, folks. So 363 moved really well. I jumped from 363 to 385, and it moved good. So all in all, excellent, good news there. And then I jumped to 402. And this is where I was a little disappointed, because I really wanted to PR on bench, knowing that I was going to 402 to match my PR. Was like, okay, this will be another moral win, but it's not going to be a PR win. So whatever. And this is where the controversy can kind of start. Watching the video back, there was definitely an up and down movement on my, what would that be, my right side. But on my left side, it kind of carried on. And I didn't think I got it. I thought for sure I had swam it up, to the point that when I was locked out, I was just going to jump the command and rack it, because I thought I didn't hit it. But then the logical brain took over and said, no, get the command and rack it. So I did. I got the rack command, racked it, sat up 2-1 on the whites. Even to the point that Randy, who was handling me, and Justin, my coach, they both kind of went, I don't know. So if you watch the video back, you decide. If I had gotten 2 reds to 1 white and not got the lift, I'd have been like, yeah, that's fair. However, I would rather be lucky than good, as Papa DeLand always says. And they gave it to me. It goes down as a 402-pound bench on the day. And I was 3 for 3 on bench and 5 for 6 on the day. So you know what? I'll take it. You guys can debate in the comments whether or not I got it, whether you think it should have been allowed or not. The criticism is completely fair. Lord knows I've been critical of people that got gimmies. So if that was the case, I'm okay with it. But regardless, it went down as a good lift. That's what's online. That's what was in my book. 402 on bench that I've now done twice in the same year. So, I mean, that's a good win. Then the moral fight. Then deadlifts, where I got hurt and where I wasn't sure how it was going to go because this was going to be a mental thing. And I set my opener ambitiously. I set my opener at 562 pounds because I thought we're going to find out right away. We're going to know. I'm going to know in the warm up room, and we're going to find out now how my deadlifts have gone. So we started at 562, which is the biggest opener I've had. And it went, and it went relatively well. I was a little bit more methodical with it, trying to protect my back through it. But it went, and okay, good, pain free, amazing. We jumped to 589.7, which I realized I was tracking for a PR because at King and Queen I did 555 to 584. Now I had just done 562 to 589, and I thought, okay, if we continue this trend, maybe I could. We'll see how 589 goes. So I sat down, put my music in, got in the zone. Alen drew a little heart on my singlet. Yeah, she drew it on my right side, and she was all upset that she put it on the wrong side. And I said, no, that's fine. It's okay. Wear my heart on my sleeve anyways. So 589. Again, I went back out, went through all my routine, and pulled 589 pretty well for a second. And I thought, okay, this could be something. And I walked off the platform, and Justin was there waiting, and he said, what's your PR? I said 606. And he said, do you want to jump to 611 to go for a PR? And I immediately said yes. Because at this point, I got to know. I got to try and leave here with something. And my back felt really good. I had heat rub on it. I had stretched it. I wanted to leave there with something. I wanted to leave there with a PR, or at least give it my best opportunity to happen. So went back down, sat back down, got more baby powder on, got in the zone. So 611. Du Hast is playing because that's my third attempt song for deadlift without fail. Had a little powwow with Justin before I went out there. He told me all the things I needed to hear. See, for the most part, I'm not a raw guy. I'm not an ooh-rah, like, let's go, pump the crowd up, pump myself up. I like to be a little bit more methodical. I like to be a little bit more calm, cool, collected. I find when I get to be too ooh-rah, I lose my focus, I lose my cues, and I fall apart at the seams, and then all the King's horses and all the King's men couldn't put Humpty Dumpty back together again. So before all my lifts, it was breathing with Justin. It was calming down, calming myself down, staying in the zone. We got into the huddle for my third deadlift, and he told me, he said, you can take a little bit off on your cues and add it to your intensity because you got to rip it off the floor. It's got to go. So song's playing, platform ready. I had a bit of a oorah, as you can see in the video. And 611 was time. So had that moment, walked out. I took a step back, got my breath, walked up to the bar, still went through my normal routine. And it went. I couldn't believe it. 611 pounds. A modest 611 pound deadlift to get a PR, a 5-pound PR. But you know what? I'll take it. A PR is a PR. Considering I went into the day with no aspirations of any PRs, Never mind on deadlift. My order of what I thought I would hit on a PR: bench, squat, deadlift. That was how I gave myself the chance. And it didn't do that at all. I matched my PR on bench, as I said. I wasn't even close on squats. And then deadlift went. Deadlift. The lift that hurt me 2 weeks ago. Really? You know, just when you think you got it all figured out, life changes the questions. So that was it for WRPF Nationals. I finished with a 1576 total, which is well off of my 1603 PR total. 414 dots, again, on account of the weight loss. It's unfortunate because if I, PR'd on my total, obviously my dots would have been a lot better. I went into the day with 417. So 417 remains my best dots to date, and 1603 remains my best total because I didn't pull it on the day. So that was it. That's all she wrote, folks. My last competition of 2025, 2 powerlifting shows in 1 year. What would that be? 10 months apart ish, February to November, 9 months maybe. And I'm okay with it. I am, because I didn't think that's how the day was going to go at all. And I'll take it. I got second place. Unfortunately, the gentleman who finished in third got hurt. So he just did 70 pounds on his lifts to get through, if I read the lifting cast properly. Not how I'd want to take second place. I always say I want to beat guys when they're healthy. I never want to beat a guy because of an injury. Never, ever. Because it's not a win in my books. I'd rather beat someone healthy or lose to someone healthy than have a gimme. So regardless, second place, Aiden Worth took first. And I mean, I'm not beating Aiden unless he gets hurt. And even then, he'll probably still beat me because Aiden's 22, 23, over a 500 dots, like just coming into his prime. This kid has the potential to be one of, if not the best powerlifters in Canada, maybe over the next 10 years. Like, the kid's potential is insane to me. Insane. Watching him on his own go out there and do his thing. I say on his own. He was on his own in the warm-up room. He has a coach. I think he's with Big Cat out in Alberta. But yeah, losing to him, not a loss in my books. I'm 35. He's 23. I was just happy to be there with him, That's a win for me. But yeah, so that was the day. And I'm going to do a different video for how I think the event went. And then I'm going to do another video for what's next for me. But this video was my wrap up and some thank yous. So first and foremost, thank you to Justin and Ellen, Team Zottle. It has been a year with them, and they have done incredible work with me on all 3 of my lifts, from changing my bench to improving the cues on my squat and helping with cues on my deadlift. I just want to say, if you don't have a coach, go get one. Whether it's me, you can hire me for coaching. I had an athlete compete at Nationals this past weekend. Hire Justin and Ellen, hire Joe down the road. It doesn't matter. If you want to get better in this sport, I'm a firm believer that having a coach will help you do that, because you can only take yourself so far before it's like, okay, I need somebody else to look at me objectively and say, this is what we're going to do. And not all coaches work out. I'm a believer in moving on coaches. I don't know if they're going to watch this video or not, but there's probably going to come a time where I'll likely move on from Justin and Alen and go try something different, just like I moved on from my last coach. To me, it's normal in the sport, because to me, I want to gather as much information from people as I can and take what works for me from each one. And if people are professional enough, you should be able to shake hands and say, thank you very much. I appreciate all the work you've done for me and with me. I'd like to go try something new to get a different perspective. And then you're not burning a bridge. And then you can come back later and go, yeah, that guy was an idiot. He's out to lunch. I like what we did together, But that's a different video for a different time. The fact of the matter is I'm still here with them and going on into the next thing. So thank you both. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for knowing how to talk to me on the day of a competition. Thank you for just the entire prep and all the hard work you guys put in. I thank you both immensely for that. Thank you to Randy, owner, operator, Skullhouse. Oh God, Skullhouse Strength, right there. The gym that I train at. Randy has been in my corner since 2019 when we met at a different gym and started training together, and then training in her garage and watching her grow Skullhouse into what it is now. This is the first time I think she's handled me. I've handled her before. And again, just another fantastic soul that gets me, that me, knows how to talk to me, knows how to be there for me. She took my earbuds, she took my glasses, she put the baby powder on my legs, gave me world class back slaps that left bruises on my back. Again, I leave powerlifting shows smelling like chalk, baby powder, ammonia, and I have bruises across my body. Bruises on my back from the bar, bruises from back slaps, bruises on my wrist from the wrist wraps. Like they're just everywhere. My knees from the knee sleeves being so tight. She took the knee sleeves off of me. She made sure I had my wraps, made sure I had food. She has done so much for me, even as like my makeshift therapist. Just when I got hurt, she was the first person to call me and talk me down off the ledge because I was losing my mind. So I can't put into words what she has done for me and the help she's given me, both on the platform, in the gym, and outside of the gym. She's been truly one of, if not my best friends through the whole process. And she's hitting the platform in January, I think she said. I always forget, at Barbella's down in Niagara Falls, hosted by Len at Just Be Strong. That's going to be a heck of a show. Some of the strongest women I know in my life are going to be competing there. Kelsey, who in my deadlift video was there cheering me on. I had a good chat with Kelsey. Thank you, Kelsey, for taking the time to talk to me. She's not competing at Barbella's. She's the platform lead, she told me. Another one of the strongest women I know, fiery redhead, great passion for the sport, and also incredibly smart. So getting a chance to talk to her and pick her brain a bit was great. So thank you, Kelsey, for taking the time to chat with me as well. Thank you to Karina, one of my oldest friends. We've been friends for about 20 years. Her and Jesse both about the same time. Jesse a little bit longer. Jesse, thank you for sending me the good luck messages on the day as always. Karina, thank you for driving my sorry ass down. Thank you for the videos, and thank you for feeding me after. I don't like driving after these competitions because my body kind of shuts down. And for you to pick me up at the ass crack of dawn, drive me down, sit there essentially on your own, take videos, and then drive me back and have food with me, I will forever be grateful for those days. And thank you for your time. Thank you to Tamara for a lot of things, mostly for trying to put Humpty Dumpty back together again. Tamara does FST. I'm not even going to try and say the words because I'll butcher them. I know what it stands for. My brain tells me, but my mouth will get the words wrong. Look it up. And if you need someone to stretch you and fix you, reach out to Tamara. This is a free plug. She's not paying me, but I mean, if you want to pay me, you can pay me. Reach out to Tamara on Facebook. Tam's Lions Den, I believe, is her Instagram handle. I'd like to say I'll link it down below, but I'll probably forget. And now that I've said it, I probably will. But anyways, it might be down below. Who knows? I have a very small, smooth brain. I may not remember. But Tamara, thank you for stretching me and trying to keep me in one piece through the day. It helped immensely. So thank you for that. Thank you for taking the videos. And again, another person that this is why I think it's important to surround yourself with like-minded folks, because she's a competitor too. She does bodybuilding, she does powerlifting, and we all kind of know how to talk to each other. So she was right there after my last deadlift. I was kind of sitting off to the side and I was getting a little bit emotional because I'm an emotional guy. I've got big feels, I'm not your average bear. And she came right over to talk to me, gave me a big hug, and we had a good chat about the emotions that get wrapped up in the day. So thank you for that. I had notes here because I knew I was going to forget some people, and I hope I didn't. Again, thank you to Apex Barbell Club. Thank you for the WRPF. And finally, most importantly, thank you to the referees. They take an unreasonable amount of abuse from emotional and hormonal lifters. I didn't see any on Sunday. I don't think there was any on Saturday either. I talked to Andrew, who is one of the head referees, and Matt, and they didn't mention any crybabies. So hopefully it remained the same. I lifted in the morning on Sunday. Hopefully it was the same on Sunday afternoon, that there was no crybabies. But I've been a referee in other sports, and the abuse that they take, you'll never hear me yell at a referee. You'll never see me lose my mind on a referee for a bad call. I will talk to a referee. And this goes back to my first competition. Andrew was a side judge on my deadlift, and I mentioned this in one of my old videos. And I ramped my deadlift. He took me aside and he told me, he's like, listen, you ramped it. I gave it to you. Clean it up. I cleaned it up for my second one, did it again on my third, and he red lighted me, and it was like, that's on me, man. You gave me a fair shake. I was a new lifter. You gave me a break on the first one, not the second one. That's on me. And these guys are reasonable because they're athletes as well. Like, they understand. They're not out to screw you. They're not out to, pull a Montreal screw job and take a light away from you. Just make a clean lift and you'll be fine. And don't abuse the referees. So thank you to the referees, and thank you to all the platform spotters, loaders, spotters especially, saving my life when I failed that squat. They caught me. Lifters don't dump the bar. I know this gets said in other videos and in the back room in the athletes meetings, but thank you to the spotters for saving my life and catching me. Chris Jackson being he was the back spotter there, grabbed a hold of this big chest and helped me back up and rack it. Thank you, Chris. Thank you to all the volunteers. There are so many volunteers that put these shows on that get forgot about. They're there days before. They're there the morning of, before any of us get there. And they're there after we all leave. After we're done having an emotional breakdown, for better, for worse, and we're off stuffing our faces and celebrating or crying with our friends and family, they're there breaking it all down and putting it all away. And they don't get enough thanks for that. They're there at the venue. They were there at the gym doing weigh-ins, doing equipment checks, on the live stream, Apex Media doing the live stream. They were, volunteers punching numbers in for everybody's attempts, running the lifting cast. Like, without volunteers, this sport does not succeed. It doesn't, because who's going to do it, right? They do it, and they need to be thanked for that. So I don't know if anybody else thanked them. I get reminded after my third deadlift to thank the judges, because I will forget, but it's important to do that. Thank the people that help put this stuff together, because I know a lot of people out there that piss and moan about stuff that wouldn't volunteer a second of their time. And I'm hoping that this gives me some grace for my next video when I talk about things that I maybe didn't like about nationals. But it will be constructive criticism, and it's coming from the place of an athlete that experienced it, and it's not going to be anything crazy. And if anybody has an issue with anything I say in that video, please feel free to DM me and I will talk to you. But that's it. WRPF Nationals 2025 came to a close. I had a good time. Thank you, everybody. As always, stay strong, and I will talk to you next time.